Sandra here, off the grid on the 45th parallel in Ontario, Canada. And today we're going to walk and talk about living off the grid. We have 2.5 acres. There's the cabin. And we bought this place 15 years ago. It's off the grid in the woods near Algonquin Park in Ontario. And let me tell you about living off the grid as we go for a little walk. Maybe we'll see some wild animals, maybe we won't. We do have some wild blueberry bushes, which these bushes here often are picked through by whatever little animals come around here. So let's go for a little walk. Most of our forest is evergreen. We have cedar and maple. This is my hygge culture pile, which needs tending to. All right, let me find the path. There's several paths here. Here, let's go up here. This is where the beehives used to be. We had a couple of beehives here, and I positioned them to face south. And unfortunately, they didn't survive a particular winter here, which is pretty common. These really don't need our help. This is our creek. And this leads into a beaver dam. Isn't that nice and calm? There's a sandy place down there we've named Mom's Beach. Let's go back. I'll show you signs of beavers. We have lots of beavers here. Can you hear that? It's beautiful. This was the location I was going to use if I got more than 2 beehives, which still might happen. But this is what our conversation today is, about living off the grid. I guess in particular, living a homestead life. And I really thought that's where our chicken coop was. A couple of my husband's motorcycles. A pizza oven that we never really use. I roasted vegetables in there. So let me tell you about living off the grid. It was easier when I was younger. I'm 60 right now, and I have some health issues. So living in minus 20, minus 30 degree weather in the winter has really become quite impossible. Let's walk to the back. So I don't come in the winter, and since my husband retired, we do go to Florida and visit family a couple times a year, nice leisurely drives. Now, living off the grid means that we're not attached to any city services. So we don't have water, we don't have power, hydropower, or any sort of city power. We don't have plumbing, so we have to do our own type of plumbing situation. And we have time to do that, so it's okay. It's not, we don't have to make this our job. Right back there, that's the newest outhouse, because this property has been owned by a few people, and we actually were able to grandfather in this particular outhouse. I do have indoor plumbing, but it's not city plumbing. I'll explain that to you. So everything's an effort. Water. We don't use the creek water, and we could, and we've often talked about it. We bring in our own water in jugs, and we have a little manual pump. Oh, there's a squirrel. The squirrels up here are thinner and more prey than the big fat squirrels in the city. Yeah, you heard me. Often you'll hear something in the woods, and it sounds like a bear or a moose, and it's usually a bird or a squirrel. Oh, let's see what we've got here. You know why you don't eat that? Because an animal didn't eat that. Okay, I'm going to say a reference now, and you can, in the comments, tell me what movie I'm referencing. That is the color we don't speak of. I love movies. Maybe I'll do a nice video about, we can talk about our favorite movies. It's sunny today, but it's only about 16 Celsius, which 16, 32, so what's low 60s, but it's so sunny. I actually smell honey. Could it be a bear? No, you know what bears smell like? They smell like garbage. That's how I smell a bear before I see a bear. And have I seen a bear here? Yep. Many bears. There's a lot of this. I've not seen these before. 15 years, and this is new. I'll have to ask my son if he has seen those. So we bring in our water up from the local towns. All have water, so I guess we do use city water. We do pay land taxes, so but we don't have water on our property that we use for bathing and drinking. That water we bring in. The creek water would be contaminated with, I think it's called giardia, which is, full of beaver droppings, so it'd make you quite sick. When I go into the creek, which is really fun to do, just walking around the creek. When I go into the creek, I usually wear my boots. So, and then definitely when I come out of the creek, I check myself for leeches and definitely for ticks. Lots of ticks this year, and I did have a tick bite which had a bullseye on it. And I did get sick, but I don't think it's Lyme disease. I just think that was a coincidence. So that's our water. Now, attached to water would be plumbing. We have several plumbing options up here. We have that outhouse, which I'll use in the summertime if I'm out and about and it's the closest thing. But I do have an indoor composting toilet, and the bunkie and the main cabin, they both have, I guess, those portable toilets. We take showers, outdoor showers, or we go and hop in the lakes. There's a bazillion lakes around here. Isn't this pretty? Summer is really nice. And the bugs aren't really bad today. I put on some deep woods off with DEET. That's another thing too that living off the grid has done. There's the creek again. Is I was always, city girl me was always quite against DEET. But I have since caved to my convictions of what I thought. And it really is the best thing for being out here to keep away the ticks and the mosquitoes. Very harmful, those things. There we go. I'm zooming out. So let's go into the back. Now this here, when there's no water in it, we call it the meadow. It's the creek in the meadow. More often than not, though, there are hundreds of beavers here. The beavers will build a dam. I'll show it to you. It's broken now. And then this fills with water, and it's the perfect place to canoe or kayak. And not so much anymore, but a very typical stereotype Canadian thing of years past would be to own a red canoe, which we own a red canoe, and a couple of kayaks. Here we go. Nice slow walk. You can hear the creek. So that's our water and bathing and washroom situation. And power. We don't need a lot of power, turns out. We have lights and they run on one battery that's hooked up to a solar system. And in the summer, we get plenty of sun here. And the solar feeds into a battery and the lights run off that battery. And then we have other things that require more power that they either have their own battery or we do turn on a gas fueled generator. Let's see if we can see something back here. I'm talking and they smell me, so we'll probably not see anything. But we've seen bears back here and moose and deer. Evan saw coyote last week. Oh, you can't even, that's the beaver dam. See, it's all grown over. You could see some of it. Let me just, yeah, you can't see much. All right, some. So it's nice and quiet now. So this part, the recreation part of living off the grid, easy peasy. We actually have a cell tower around, so I still use my data so I can connect to the world. But I can't. There's a lot of things that are not convenient. So the nice things, of course, are, you know, when you come up just for a few days, then the inconvenience of not having on-demand hot water and using as much power as you like, washing machines, things like that. That's not happening. Now, staying up here for a significant amount of time, life gets hard, really hard. And I've learned this particular year, I don't know if it's because I turned 60, but this year I learned that I really like conveniences. In the city, I have like dozens and dozens of grocery stores I could be at in 5 or 10 minutes. Here, it takes, if I want a loaf of bread store-bought, I can go to the general store, which is about 10 kilometers away. It's at 6 miles. That still takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get to. But, so, you know, I can get a loaf of very expensive bread if they have it. Things are a little bit more scarce up here. If I want to go to a proper grocery store, then proper, I mean like a chain grocery store, I have to drive a half an hour. The nearest Walmart is about an hour and 15 minutes drive. So it requires a lot of planning to be here. Cooking is a little tough. I have a propane stove with 2 burners. And we do have a microwave that we use very sparsely, like last night. I came up last night and I had made a lasagna and it was still frozen. So I put it in the microwave for about 10 minutes to defrost it. What else do we have? We do have an ice maker and we have a fridge, but the fridge can't run off the battery very well. So it's basically where a regular fridge would be about 4 degrees Celsius. Our fridge runs about 8 to 10 degrees Celsius. So for things that you want to keep not hot, it would be okay. Hard cheeses, things like that, I'll keep in there. I'll bring up a bag of frozen fruit, and I know the next day it's thawed in the fridge. It's a small fridge, tiny little fridge. We could get it. I am smelling honey. That means there's a beehive around here in one of these trees. So this year I have, like I said, things are becoming inconvenient, and that's frustrating me a little bit. I used to work up here in the summer. So I'd work at the art galleries. I would do, I'd be in art shows. I would teach in the summer. My son works up here in the summertime. He works seasonally. He has special needs. He's 25. And he would love to get a full-time permanent job. But I, being the unconventional mother that I am, really think that a part-time job just to pay his bills would be perfectly acceptable, and the rest of the time he should, or what I think he should do, is just live joy. Just live joyfully. Do the things you want to do. See, that I had mentioned in a previous video how we've neglected things. Like this was an old outhouse many years ago. And we didn't use it anything except for storage. We store our like water toys in there. I started collecting windows because I was going to make a greenhouse made of just windows. I thought that's a great idea. That's the back of the cabin. Here's the red canoe and the kayaks. There's the bunkie. We'll walk by the bunkie. And there's the outhouse and shower. It's kind of a nice outhouse. This is going to be a shorter video than usual. I just want to talk about, could you live off the grid? Because a lot of people think, oh, wouldn't it be great to have some land and just go out into the forest or live there? That sounds great for a weekend, and I'm sure everyone would enjoy. Whoops, see, I'm going to fall. Everyone would enjoy a weekend doing it. But let me tell you, it's doing it full time. I couldn't do it in the winter because we need to chop our own wood. That's the bunkie. There's the canoe. There's rain barrels. We used to collect rainwater, but then we had to treat it, and it just became such a pain. So it's just easier just to every few days go into town. It is beautiful. I do like it. I'm here alone this morning because, like I said, Evan is working. He works 10 to 5, I think, today. And my husband is 2 hours away getting a part for his motorcycle. You see what I mean? Like, to get a part for your motorcycle, you gotta really plan that, so he'll be home soon. This, you see this piece of wood? ADHD brain, but I'm going to do it. This is going to be a 10-foot crochet hook. I looked up the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest crochet hook, and it's 9 feet something. So I thought, well, since I'm doing some wood carving this year, I will see if I can beat that. We're coming around again. There's the cabin. There's a wood shed. Canoes. Or one canoe, 2 kayaks. I won one of those kayaks. I can't remember which one. Canadian Tire, that's our like home hardware, our Home Depot type of thing. Um, our Canadian Tire was having a raffle. For $5, I bought a ticket, and I said I was going to win that kayak, and I won that kayak. There's bunnies living under here. This is where we've seen this path here. This is where we've seen bears and deer and all sorts of animals. But really, they don't like hanging out with you. They don't like people. We had right here. We had a tree. Oh, let me show you. One year. I don't know if it was 4 years ago, 3 years ago. We came to check on the place. I think in March or April, and beaver had come and eaten all the trees. And this tree, that big one there, lying there, that one right there, that was leaning up against the cabin. But it didn't do any damage at all because it landed on probably 6 feet of snow. So it very gently, as the snow melted, it very gently got placed on the roof of the cabin. And then we couldn't do it. We had to hire somebody to come and take it off the roof. Isn't that pretty? So that's a cord that goes from the to the power of the green cabin to the bunkie, the yellow cabin, and so that there's a heater in there. So when the generator's on, a heater in there will come on, like an electric heater. So we can do that. We can, like, everything takes MacGyvering. Up here, this is where, because we're on a mountain here, and we're pretty high. Like, there's the road, you can see, and it's a very busy road these days. 15 years ago, it was not. And I planted some strawberries, or raspberries, sorry, raspberries. There's wild strawberries here. You never see them because the animals come and eat them. And yay, that's fine. And I planted raspberry bushes here, and the animals do come and take them, that's fine. Of course, that's fine. This is way overgrown, and we have a frog pond right about there, a big frog pond. And then it goes up, but what happens is you never know the water level. So it's very spongy, the ground. So I'm in sandals right now. I wouldn't go over there unless I had boots on, because I could get nailed. And then it actually you go up. It's quite the angle, about 60-degree angle. You go up to even more of the top of the mountain. And we call that the lookout, and that's just beautiful. So we did a little walk around, talked about off the grid. So tell me if you think you could live off the grid. I'm kind of glad I do what I do. That is the shed. I call that the man cave. We'll go up to the road. Isn't that nice? Over there, that blue tarp, that's the chicken coop. There's more windows. It's kind of a pile of stuff I will do things with. There's some of our solar panels. The bugs are not bad. Let's go up to the road. And then this, I don't think you could tell with a video, but this is quite a grade. That's like a 30-degree angle, which I've had to call CAA, which is like AAA, to pull me out twice. I'm going to show you more beaver stuff. This is, let me just zoom in on this a little. Where's it at? Okay, there. See that stump? I want to cut that and make it into something. Okay, and we're almost done. So this is a very well kept road, it's very nice in the winter, like when we came up in the winter a lot. We'll go look at the creek. So it's a very nice road, good in the winter. That's our neighbor's property. I think he has hundreds of acres. We have, like I said, 2.5 acres, and we're the smallest folks up here. Everybody else owns dozens of acres, hundreds of acres. So this often is also full of water, but because the dam broke. But the beavers come back, like every little while, the beavers come back. The wildflowers are beautiful here. Gotta wave at everybody that goes by because that's what you do. Okay. Let's cross the road while it's safe to do so. I'm gonna wrap it up in a couple minutes. See if you could see Mom's Beach. I call it Mom's Beach because that's where I like to sit. So that's off the grid living. Could I do it all year round? Nope. Can I do it 3 months in the summer? Yeah. Could my husband do it year round? Oh yeah. He would love this. He'd have a snow machine. Thank you for sharing my morning walk. And let me know in the comments if you could live off the grid.